in this instance, we don't really have to worry about the equipment or cubes or anything like that. We don't have to worry, personnel, we wanna have the right personnel to come in and white glove service. So, if we change this, and we'll stay at Parkwood, actually we'll change this to, let's say we're doing work for Staples, right? So we're doing work for Staples, and there's 40 boxes, 50 pounds apiece for 2,000 pounds. Going to Ogilvy, same guy, right? So now we have a 2,000 pound skid. It'd be a 2,000 pound skid that is got 40 boxes on it, going to Ogilvy, right? So now we want to probably change our equipment to a 1 ton, cube van, because you don't want to leave pieces of your product exposed out there. What kind of operator want? A semi white glove service again, but now we need a guy to have a wheeler as well. A wheeler or a cart. He's going to hit the loading docks here at the back of the Ogleville building. So we want to have a wheeler cart. Possibly, if he's moving the skid around, we want to make sure that he has a pallet jack.
And steel toe boots.
Yeah, and probably steel toe boots.
Well, if he's using
This
a pallet
vest.
jack,
Yeah, yeah.
Standard PPE. There's
Yeah, and probably a viz.
well, and safety glasses.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to back this up to just say PPE, and understand what kind of PPE you should be wearing, right? And we should let them know that by going to see Ogilvy to make sure what they kind of want too, right? You know what I mean? And then transferring that data out to the driver, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes you might know that in dispatch, sometimes you might not know that in dispatch. But we want to know that, and we want to have that part of our logical process, right?
Okay, so.
Right, John?
Yeah,
You're
requirements.
getting hungry, eh?
Well, no, I just want to make sure the guy turns the right direction. Oh, he's coming in the right direction.
Okay.
Thank God.
But
So
so,
you-
there's a couple of things that we need here then. Like all of this stuff is in your head, Dan, so we haven't met these drivers, we
Right.
don't know what equipment.
Truck
they
equipment?
own,
Okay,
Or any of that stuff.
okay.
You
So-
either need to be able to build the tables into the system, or
Yeah,
you need
that's
to
weird.
provide us with a spreadsheet that says, that answers all of these questions.
Yeah, and we have that, right? We have that.
Do you? Where?
It's in the new software. We have truck equipment and we have truck equipment and we do.
Yeah, yeah,
We do.
yeah.
I'm just
They'll
trying
be
to,
doing inventory.
what I'm
We'll
trying
know
to do
what
is
they have on
I'm sort of telling you this, but I'm also trying to tell John that this is where we have to be able to feed
Yeah.
that back if we can send them on a job or not. And we have to get this data also from our owner operators as well.
Like, so what we really need.
Does everybody
to do-
understand this
I'll
one?
stay. I'm going to stay out of the
Does
detail.
everybody understand this one
'cause-
example?
Yeah, because when we build it, we'll get to. I'm going to get to detail, but on a big level.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, yeah, it's just that if we have access to that information, and that's something that
Right.
I or Johnny, whoever else is gonna be doing this, needs to do it with your input. Like, let us do it, and so that we know whether we're doing it correctly or not, right?
Yeah, and then one other thing that we kind of have there in the safety HSE is the guy authorized and who signed off that he knows how to use a pallet jack, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or he can drive a crane.
Certified for a forklift. All this stuff that you're. Yeah, that's all going to be in place.
So that's that logic there that ties into equipment, and then just somebody has to check off to say, yeah, he knows how to use a pallet jack. Yeah, he understands the PPE of this receiver and shipper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's qualified, and then we're okay to send him, right?
So what would your expectation be of PPE, for example, owner of the company? Do you want all of your truck drivers wearing steel-toed boots, or is there limitations to that?
Generally, they should anyways, because they're
That's what
dealing
I
with
thought.
loads, and even if you're carrying a box.
So Ken is kind of I would call he's driving a car. Ken, do you have steel-toe boots?
I do.
Yeah. Do you have a high-vis vest?
I do.
Do you have
Well-
glasses?
I do.
Do you have gloves?
I do.
So your
Okay,
expectation is that everybody is PPE equipped?
Have to be.
And
Yeah, yeah. And we just have to make such quick modifications and such quick changes, right? You know what I mean? You know, right now, Mogos is the only guy in the West End, right? You know what I mean? He has to be kind of ready for white glove service and for industrial stuff, right? Because we want to, you know, look at this. So,
But see, that would be ultimately my expectation, that each driver is pretty much equipped as a
Right.
representative of your company
Yes.
to provide whatever
Yeah.
kind of service is required.
and I'm just gonna go. And again, you know what? So, I don't want to pigeonhole myself too much, right? Because do you know what? California ships a lot of vegetables.
So we still not gonna wear flip-flops.
Yeah. Still PPE. And actually within that, it's sometimes nice just to have the highest level of PPE all available to you, right? You know what I mean? What happens there, and I was working with Hewitt, and it was like, okay, now my guys gotta wear gloves. My guys didn't wear gloves, and he's like, yeah, we have on our site, everybody has to wear gloves, so you have to wear gloves, right? Had a thing, you know, yeah, you gotta wear a mask, right? You know what I mean? Unless the customer over a
Well,
driver's going in without a mask.
Some of the facilities or the refineries that you're going into, they can't have facial hair because they
This
want
is-
to be able to wear a respirator, right? So that's something
Yeah.
for sure you need to know.
Yeah,
And there used to be places where you had to wear a long sleeved shirt.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the
Yeah.
summertime, that was a problem.
in my truck driver thing, so I used to have a long sleeve shirt, then I just moved to coveralls. All of our company drivers have been given coveralls. I think all of our owner operators, one of our last meetings was given coveralls. Hard hats with like this high vis on it, right? You know, with their names on it. So we want to try and go up and present at a high level. And I think eventually we probably end up going into, did my phone die? Oh, you know, it's not so important. Just a second.
Yeah, if you go on CN property, you can't go without a high vis vest.
Yeah. And then, so there's another part of that is, okay, so you go with your high vis vest, right?
Yeah.
So high vis vest, some look like shit, some look good, right? You know what I mean? I think the best high vis vest is actually a surveyor's vest, right? You know what I mean? Or your coveralls, right?
Orange,
You know?
yellow.
Or your coveralls. If you're a trucker, you know, are you a trucker or are you Ken, right? You know, come in that doesn't put a high vis vest on that often, let's say. I just want to go to another thing. So I'm just going to pull a hot shot out here, right? So, Spartan Valves calls, and they got one box, 50 pounds, going to Syncrude.
Is that Spartan Controls?
Yeah, Syncrude. So I'm just going to tell you about myself here, right? You know what I mean? 50 pounds. Now I've come outside of legislation. Because I'm carrying a load that is under 4,500 kg, so I don't have to hit a scale. My hours are, I've jumped out of the legislation now, right? You know, so I used to actually be set up so that I would work in a separate company as a mechanic during the day or night or whatever, and boom, I could jump into a truck and now I was driving something. So even if they took a look, I was not going to exceed my rules of the road, not go over my 13 hours of driving, whatever, right? You know what I mean? And ready to go anywhere, right? Syncrude's not really that far of a drive, it's only about 5 hours, right? 5 hours, if you get the call at 5 o'clock, now you're into 10 o'clock. If you wait at the gate,
22.
if you wait at the gate for 2 hours, which is possible, then it's 12 o'clock,
You
right?
did it.
Lunch has arrived. Okay,
So just now it's 12 o'clock and I gotta come back to Edmonton, which gets me back at 5 o'clock in the morning, AM, right? So in my Chevy, right? My Chevy had enough so I could sit in the back seat, and at 2 o'clock when I just had enough, I can pull in and have a 8 hours sleep. It'll get me up at 10 AM, and then I'll finish off the 2 hour drive to get back into Edmonton for 12 o'clock in the now PM. What helps me here is this ability to kind of turn my backseat of my Chevy into a sleeper. You know, and that's real beneficial. And I find too with that is very beneficial to lay down. If you have one-ton cube van, I would have a roll-out piece of foam and a sleeping bag, because I sleep way better if I actually lay down than compared to sitting in a truck, right? Okay, let's shut it up.